the first piece you heard of Schumann, Robert Schumann, was Träumerei, and I had to look that up. That means daydreaming. And both my parents were very avid followers of Carl Jung and his dream theories. So I'm going to try to bring you into that world. So, you know, how real are dreams? Are they part of our life? What is a daydream? Why was that his favorite piece? What is dream time? I must have had, around the time when my mother transitioned, I had had a dream with Jesus, and I had heard a piano player, and he was playing so well that somebody that you just blow a whistle, snap your fingers, and it all comes out perfectly. Could go anywhere, and I was like maybe jealous or something, or I wanted to make myself feel better, and I said, well, I can do better than that. And Jesus took this Android tablet and he stuck it in front of my face to show me playing parts of a piano concerto my father had bought me the music for in the Netherlands when I was 16 years old. He got it somewhere in a used store, or they have places there they sell, you know, like a garage sale sort of industry. And yeah, I didn't think much of it. And I'm sorry I could bring the Android tablet here, but we haven't downloaded that actual dream from it. There's other pictures I'll show you that came out of that specific Android tablet that apparently could come into my dreams. I'll play you what came from the dream a bit later. There was two things in the dream. There's just that simple melody, and those two things. And so I'll show you what was there. See, this here, people would say it's a mistake. This is from this Android tablet. Do you see here this image? Right here. I had gone to be with nature when I was told my mother was transitioning. And Inti had just come over, and Inti was in bed with her. And so I think I went and hugged her also, and then I knew she's not in her body in a way, because I had heard about near-death experiences, and I felt it give me a memory of holding me as a boy, a baby with all potential. And I was so happy, I thought, well, I should go to nature and be that happy baby. And so I took the Android tablet with me, and this is a picture I took knowing something would happen. And this is about the moment when she transitioned. And to me, okay, so I came home with this, and I showed it to Inti. I said, what is that? And he says, oh, it's Mommy. This is maybe her spirit transitioning, blossoming, crystallizing, blossoming, becoming free in what you might call heaven. And then the next picture, see, that's very similar, the cameo image. Yeah. And now the next is kind of the next. This is also, I didn't know, if you look here, you see this light come on and come off. And it comes off. That's because I made a gift that's do you see that nowhere else, there's nothing there that changes except for that one light. That's two different pictures that turned up in that tablet, in that Android. And, to me, from the healing experiences I've had, how to explain that without, That's the eternal Son that we all become. And if we enjoy life without guilt, this is how we're all together and enjoying creativity and loving each other and forgiving each other and having no guilt. If everybody would do this, we might not have all these wars, which is the connection for me this has, because when my father was transitioning then 2 years later, 3 years later, almost, I knew he was transitioning. And I had started writing cadenzas to go with this music, this concerto my father had bought for me. And so I had recorded what I had so far of the cadenzas. This is the last stuff he heard with his physical ears. Well, one of the last things. There's a pic you sent me of him listening to it. And later that day, I had done some things, and I decided to sit down at the piano and play through these songs I had written, or that had been inspired to write because of this war going on. And a beautiful poet from Palestine was assassinated. But he had left this poem behind, and the poem had a nebula of music with it, and I couldn't let it be, so I put the music with the poem, and then the music wouldn't stop, and I have words that came with that. The poem, Refat al-Rir, Left Behind, is this: if I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even his flesh, bid no one farewell, not even to himself, so that a child somewhere in Gaza sees the kite, my kite you made, flying above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. I had, and the music that came with that wouldn't stop, so I have more poems that I was given that I made up. And I was playing through this that day after he had heard what I haven't played for you yet. And I was kind of amazed, the simplicity of the music I was given and how sensitive it is, and happy. Then I was going to do something else, the phone rang, and was it you on the phone? That he had just transitioned, that he had gripped both your hands, either on the other side with the other hand, and then he woke up in heaven, the same 9th of a month, the same time when people usually fall asleep as his wife had. And I realized, well, that's really something with this kind of energy. I, of course, went back to it recently, the same music, and I couldn't stop crying, so I started trying to bring back that opening, that joy, that I had when my mother transitioned. It was like everything had this white light behind it, where it came from. It's crazy to say, it's like the most happiest moment I've had. But then you come back down here, and so I'll play for you the music you heard. I did integrate a little bit what I felt was expressed with what you told me, how he transitioned. So maybe you'll hear that too. That's one movement. The orchestra is supposed to come.